Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's morning briefing. Israel is bracing for deadly impact from Iranian missiles. The Defense Ministry says Tehran is preparing a military counterattack for the airstrikes allegedly conducted by Israeli jets last month, bombings that targeted Iran's T4 airbase in Syria and left a number of Iranian nationals dead. Defense officials say Iran is mobilizing its proxy armies in Syria, likely HEZBOLLAH, to fire missiles at sites in northern Israel. These targets would most likely be IDF military bases because a strike against civilian targets would almost certainly spiral into all-out war. In truth, this may be the scenario Israel is actually seeking. Under intense pressure from Prime Minister Netanyahu, President Trump is expected to pull the United States out of the JCPOA nuclear deal with Iran in less than 5 days. Iranian officials have confirmed that Iran would then pull out of the deal as well, likely resuming its nuclear program immediately. Such a situation would leave the rest of the world's powers scattered and without a plan B. Still, Netanyahu continues to lobby hard for the deal's collapse. He argues that a problematic deal is just as bad as no deal at all. Leaders on the opposition, however, have been doing their best to salvage the deal because they say that even with its flaws, it buys the world several years before Iran can enrich the required uranium to develop its nuclear warheads. The biggest thing likely to sway Trump away from nixing the deal, however, probably isn't the likelihood of world war, but rather the multi-billion-dollar deals that would collapse if the deal fell apart. Billions of dollars worth of oil and airplane deals, funneling from Washington all the way to Tehran, are in limbo as the world awaits Trump's decision. Not to mention the millions of people around the world fearing that this may lead to all-out war. This is a bit of a surprise. We've just learned that Hamas is apparently seeking a long-term ceasefire with Israel. The terror group is reportedly willing to offer big, unprecedented compromises, such as halting violence and even a prisoner swap, in exchange for Israel easing its blockade of the Strip. Rumors of deteriorating conditions and intense infighting have been plaguing Hamas for some time now. Even as the group's March of Return protest enters week 7, the group has apparently been fiercely divided about halting the violent rallies altogether. With the Palestinian reconciliation deal all but dead, Hamas also faces economic disaster as well. The Israeli blockade, compounded by sanctions from the Palestinian Authority and security controls from Egypt, means that the snake may finally be eating its own tail to survive here. Hamas leadership is reportedly intensely divided on how the group should proceed, but word of a possible ceasefire deal has managed to find its way to Israeli intelligence officials, who have put it on the table for Israeli leadership. At this time, Israel has not responded to any alleged terms of such a deal. Given the horrific bloodshed seen in recent weeks along the Gaza border, Israel may be unwilling to trust any such deal anyway. This wouldn't be the first time Hamas has sought a ceasefire. Still, with the terror group running out of options, we may be seeing those rumors turn into something more concrete in the near future. Yesterday was the first general election in Lebanon in nearly a decade. Exit polls are now coming in, and for many, it looks like their biggest fears have been realized. HEZBOLLAH's political party is expected to come out on top and dominate the new Lebanese parliament for the coming term. The terror group has been a significant player in Lebanon's government for years now, and its army nearly outguns the country's own state army. But these election results mark a major turning point in the country. Some fear for the worst. Israeli Education Minister Naftali Bennett has put it this way, quote, "The results of the Lebanese elections strengthen what has been our approach for a while. Hezbollah equals Lebanon," end quote. Lebanon's parliament consists of 128 seats. We don't have final numbers yet, but Hezbollah will likely still need to reach across the aisle a bit in order to secure a coalition majority. Possibly the biggest loser in these elections is Lebanon's own Prime Minister Saad Hariri. Hariri famously sparked immense controversy last year when he publicly said that Hezbollah was seeking to overthrow his government and possibly even orchestrating his own assassination. He was in Saudi Arabia at the time, and suspicions arose that he was possibly being held prisoner there against his will. Hariri eventually returned to Lebanon, of course, and ultimately cancelled his decision to withdraw from politics. Analysts say that Hariri may still end up as Lebanon's prime minister, even as his own party suffered a major defeat in these general elections. If there's any silver lining here, it's that 2 Lebanese women may have just won seats in the country's new parliament as well. TV journalist Paula Yacoubian and author Joumana Haddad are the candidates that may have just shattered Lebanon's glass ceiling. According to Israel's Chadashot TV News, the body of a Palestinian man shot dead on the Gaza border has been taken into custody by the IDF. The Gazan man was one of 3 killed during clashes along the security barrier, as they and a 4th man attempted to break through into Israel. The IDF has not yet commented on the reports of capturing the body or about what happened to the fourth Gazan in the group. The Army's statement did say, however, that from an initial investigation, it appears the four-man cell came in order to infiltrate and carry out a terror attack. A photo of an axe and wire cutters allegedly taken from the group was also later released. But the IDF has confirmed the taking of bodies in the past to use as bargaining chips. In fact, the former Kogat head, Major General Mordechai, even posted to social media last month, saying that Israel would not be returning bodies of terrorists killed along the Israel-Gaza border. Over the past 6 weeks, tens of thousands of Gazans organized by Hamas have flocked to the security barrier with Israel. Hamas contests that the protest is peaceful, but video of burning fields, burning tires, firebombs, rock throwing, infiltrations, explosives, and more have revealed the demonstrations to be anything but. Since the so-called March of Return began, 48 Palestinians have been killed and hundreds more injured by Israel's defensive measures. 89-year-old Ursula Haverbeck is on the run after German courts found her guilty of incitement and sentenced her to 2 years in prison. Haverbeck was sentenced last year for denying the Holocaust and spreading anti-Semitic incitement crimes in Germany. In fact, during her trial, she denied the Holocaust again, earning her an additional conviction. She was scheduled to begin her prison sentence Wednesday, but disappeared before being picked up. Local reports say her home had been empty for days. The International Auschwitz Committee, a Holocaust survivor group, has since been petitioning German authorities to pick up the pace and track Haverbeck down. One committee member said, quote, "One can only hope that police are looking for her with high pressure." That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.